The council chamber was full of light, noise, and pride. Hundreds of alien leaders sat in a circle, speaking in their native tongues. They wore fine robes, shimmered with gold, and held their heads high. The air was filled with the smell of rich perfumes and the soft hum of translators. In the center of the grand hall, a single human stood small, quiet, and alone. Ambassador Hale was Earth's final voice. He looked around the chamber, but no one looked back with kindness. Some stared with bored eyes. Others smiled in mockery. Many didn't even hide their laughter. He pressed the button on his wrist. The translator repeated his words in all languages. "We ask you not to enter our solar system. We are protecting something dangerous, something that must remain sealed. Your mining ships have already disturbed its prison, please. Stop." A tall insectoid delegate let out a screeching laugh. Others followed. Lizard-like ambassador spoke loud enough for all to hear. "You fear shadows, human." What a joke. A whisper passed through the room. "They beg like primitives." Ambassador Hale stood tall. "We sent warnings. You ignored them. If you continue, it won't be war. It will be worse. You have no idea what sleeps beneath." Another alien, gray-skinned with 6 eyes, waved a hand. "This meeting is over. Earth is dismissed." And just like that, the council turned their backs. Earth's last message was lost in laughter. 2 weeks later, deep in the far edge of council space, a patrol ship vanished. It had been scanning asteroid fields near Earth's border. No distress call, no debris, no trace. The council sent another ship. It too disappeared, then a fleet of 6. Only one returned, its crew mad, eyes burned, screaming of something staring from the dark. Still, the council did not believe. Until the human ship came. They named it Oblivion. It arrived in silence, drifting toward the council's nearest colony. It was too large to measure properly. It's larger than any known ship. No markings, no flags. It did not reply to hails. It simply moved, slow, cold. Watching, people stared up from their colony homes and saw it. Giant shadow like a second moon, blocking part of the sky. It did nothing. It attacked no one, but it didn't leave. The council sent warships. Over a dozen, they surrounded Oblivion and prepared weapons. The human ship powered up its shields. Not flashy, not loud, just a deep, low hum that vibrated bones. The council ships tried to scan it. The scans failed. Then, one by one, their systems shut down, lights flickered. Engines died. Weapons refused to fire. No attack, no damage. Don't just silence. Then Earth spoke just once. A single message broadcast across the entire council network. "We warned you. You laughed. Now we speak through action." After that, no more words came. The council met in emergency. They screamed. They argued. Some called for war. Others wanted peace. Many were afraid to speak at all. "What is that ship?" one leader shouted. "No species has this power." "They are from Earth," another said. "We called them weak. But they survived extinction-level winters. They tamed beasts we could not imagine, and they did it all alone. But they begged." Someone cried. "No," a voice said from the shadows. They warned. Then came the blackout. All council homeworlds, every single one lost satellite signal. Communications dropped. Artificial suns flickered. Power grids fell. For 20 full minutes, the galaxy was blind. When systems returned, a new image filled every screen. It was Earth, cold, blue, silent, and floating above it in orbit was something even bigger than Oblivion. A second ship, one the galaxy had never seen. Built like a fortress, covered in strange black armor. Its engines glowed like dying stars. Its name was unreadable, written in human code. No one could translate. But below, words appeared in every language. This was never about pride. It was about survival. We sealed the darkness once. If you open it, we'll seal the galaxy too. The council realized something then. Earth was never afraid of them. Earth was afraid. For them, and now it was too late. Something had already awakened, and Earth was no longer asking. It was preparing for the end. The Council had built its power on fear. No planet ever stood against them. No species ever dared to threaten them. They had crushed rebellions, silenced uprisings, and ruled the stars for thousands of years. But now, the galaxy was silent. Too silent. Their warships floated above the colony of Delthor Prime, still frozen in space. Engines offline. Weapons cold. The massive human ship Oblivion still hovered in orbit, unmoving, untouched, undefeated, inside the council chambers. Leaders argued for hours, shouted, blamed each other, but Earth said nothing, no reply. No message, no sound. Just that one warning they had already given. We warned you. You laughed. Now we speak through action. Some believed it was just a trick. Others thought Earth had stolen forbidden tech. But a few knew the truth. Earth was hiding something darker. On the fourth day, a group of elite spy ships was sent toward the human borders. They moved fast, invisible to most sensors. Built to sneak past any defense, only one made it halfway. The last transmission it sent was just static, followed by a single word, screamed in panic. It sees, then silence. The Council's panic grew. Meanwhile, trade routes collapsed. Civilian ships refused to go near Sol System. Pirates vanished without a trace. 2 mining stations exploded near Jupiter. Still, Oblivion did not move. It was waiting, but for what? Back on Delthor Prime, people looked up each day and saw the giant shadow in the sky. It blocked part of the sunlight now. The crops began to fail. The temperature dropped slightly each night. Animals grew restless. Birds refused to fly. Every morning, the colony broadcast peaceful messages, pleading, asking for response, but the ship did not answer. A scientist named Drill Ven tried something new. He sent a message not to Earth, but to the ship directly. A simple one. Why are you here? This time he got an answer. A low voice, human but cold, replied in every language at once. You disturbed the seal. You awoke what should sleep forever. I did not come to fight you. I came to stop it from reaching. You? Drelvin stared at the screen. His hands shook. He sent another message. What did we awaken? No reply came. But across the stars, a signal was picked up on a deep-frequency scanner near the edge of a black dwarf star. Something enormous was moving near the void. It gave off no heat, no light. But the gravitational pull twisted nearby planets out of orbit. The station watching it, it's called HFY, tried to report it. Its last message was 3 words. It's not matter. Then nothing. The Council finally understood. This wasn't about war. This was about something else. Something far worse. Earth had begged them not to mine near Sector X9 where, a dark, ancient structure was buried in the gravity well of a dead sun. The Council had ignored the warnings, dug too deep, and broke through the last layer of stone. They thought it was just an empty ruin. It wasn't. Now, Oblivion had arrived to block the path, to stop whatever was waking. Not to attack the Council, but to protect them from what they had touched. But the Council, proud and blind, had already sent more ships. A backup fleet. Armed, fast, ready to destroy the human ship. As the fleet approached, the stars near them began to flicker. Then, vanished, one by one. 100 ships were lost before they reached Earth space. But Oblivion had not fired a single shot. Something else had. Back on Delthor Prime. Drelven stood on the tower roof, looking up at the sky. Oblivion was changing. Its engines pulsed slowly. The armor shifted like scales. Energy fields glowed from within. And then, from the top of the ship, something opened. A signal was sent across the galaxy again. One sentence. Do not follow. We are the last line. The ship turned away from the colony and began to move. It wasn't heading toward Earth. It was heading into the deep, into the dark sector where the ancient structure had been broken, and behind it, space twisted. Something was coming, and Earth. It was no longer trying to talk. It was preparing to fight. alone if it had to. People on Council worlds were used to seeing the sky as peaceful stars shining, moons glowing, and patrol ships blinking gently in orbit. But today, the sky changed. Above the capital world of Trenorix, a shadow spread. It began as a thin line, barely noticeable. But it grew quickly. Within an hour, it stretched across the entire sky, blotting out stars, eclipsing the planet's twin moons. People ran outside. They pointed upward. Some gasped. Some dropped to their knees. Others screamed. It was Oblivion, the human ship had arrived above Trenor. Yikes. But it wasn't the same anymore. It was larger, changed. Its armor now rippled with dark blue light. Strange symbols glowed across its surface, none of them readable. The ship didn't speak. It didn't move. Didn't attack. It just hovered, blocking the sun, shutting out the light. Government buildings went dark. Emergency systems kicked in. Power grids began to flicker. Satellites fell from orbit. Artificial tides shifted. The planet's oceans swelled unnaturally. Climate systems started failing. It was not a weapon. It was a warning, and the Council knew it, in the Council chamber. Fear gripped every species. Some were yelling. Some demanded retaliation. Others sat quietly, unable to speak. A high elder, pale and shaking, stood up slowly. Do you now see? The humans were not lying. They begged. We laughed, and now they've come. Young war general banged his fist on the table. Then we should attack. Blast that monster from our sky. Another elder replied softly, You don't understand. That isn't a warship anymore. It's a wall, shield. It's here to stop something from getting through. Just then, hundreds of smaller ships began to fall from Oblivion. At first, the Council thought they were bombs, but they didn't explode. They landed gently in fields, deserts, and oceans across the planet. Small, round drones. Black, silent people gathered near them, terrified. Then, a light blinked on each one. A voice played in every language. This is a planetary safety protocol. Stay indoors. Protect your weak. Prepare for emergency shelter. Earth stands between you and extinction. Do not interfere. Nothing more? The drone stood still, scanning the skies above. Oblivion opened its side panels, revealing weapon arrays, long-range sensor dishes, and something that looked like a deep space gateway. But it didn't use them. It was waiting. And, watching that night, Trenorix did not sleep. For the first time in history, the sky was black. No moon, no stars. Only the endless shape of Oblivion. Hiding the heavens like a funeral shroud all across the city, people lit fires just to remember. Warmth. Others gathered in temples. Some cried. Some prayed. Some cursed Earth's name, but Earth never answered. In a hidden control center beneath the Council's tower, a secret meeting began. A small group of scientists, commanders, and historians were called. Their task was simple. Find out what Earth was trying to stop. What had they awakened? An old historian, trembling, opened a file from the restricted archives. It had been buried for 300 years. The title was The Deep Vault Beneath. The sunless star, it was a record of a pre-council species, long dead. Their last message was a single image, a shape made of black lines, covered in teeth, larger than a planet, a creature that lived in nothing, a thing that consumed suns, and its prison had been built near Earth's solar system because Earth had survived its echo once before. We broke the lock. The historian whispered. The room went silent. Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed. A new signal had entered the system. Something was coming from the edge of the star field. Massive, unseen, only felt. It wasn't a fleet, wasn't a ship. It was a gravity wave, like a deep breath in space, like something was inhaling. Oblivion turned slowly in orbit, its weapons charged. The ship that had not moved in days was now awake. It wasn't aiming at the planet, it was aiming at the stars. And then, Earth sent one final message. It was not a voice, it was an image. Still picture of a sun being eaten by darkness. At the bottom, 2 words glowed. It comes. And on Trenor Ikes, under the black sky, the people finally understood the war had never been between Earth and the Council. It was between light, something much older than darkness. The room was cold, inside the Council's deepest archive. Hidden far beneath the Capitol, a small group of scientists and historians stood. Around an ancient projector, dust floated in the beam of yellow light. No one spoke. No one even breathed. The image on the screen was terrifying. A creature, massive, formless, older than stars. It had no eyes, no face, just layers of twisting black limbs and rows of sharp teeth, like 1,000 mouths frozen in time. It was not a drawing, it was a real photo, captured long ago by a forgotten species now erased from history. Dr. Venn stared at it. "What is this?" an old historian whispered. "It's what Earth tried to warn us about." The file was labeled Entity Enthar, the Sun Eater. The story was older than the Council itself. Long before the Great Alliance, long before Earth joined the stars, one civilization had found something in the deep. They studied it, poked it, pulled it from the void. It destroyed them in 3 days. Their last message was short. It is not alive. It is not dead. It only consumes. We buried it near the Black Star. That Black Star was now known as Sector X9, and the Council had mined there. 10 years ago, greedy for dark energy, the Council had opened ancient rock near the dead star. They thought it was just frozen crust, but it was the last seal, and they broke it. Earth had noticed first. Their deep-range sensors picked up the breach. It sent warnings, sent messengers, begged the Council to stop, but Earth had no power in the Council. There's no voice, so no one listened. Now oblivion hovered above Council space, watching, waiting. Earth didn't come to conquer. They came to clean up the Council's mistake. In the far reaches of space, near the edge of Sector X9, something stirred. A small scout ship drifted through the void. Its lights flickered. Its engines floated cold. Inside, the crew was dead frozen in place, eyes wide, mouths open. Not from violence, not from explosion, from terror. Their last recording played on a loop, a whisper. It looked at me. It saw through. The ship. It's not a being. It's hunger, then static, then silence. The Council had no weapons that could destroy such a thing. It was too big, too old, too unknown. It had no language, no thoughts. It didn't attack for power. It didn't kill for glory. It simply ate stars, planets, ships, suns. It consumed gravity, time, matter, and it was now awake. On Earth, deep beneath the planet's crust, something else waited. Project Seraph, the last weapon. A ship unlike any other built, not to explore, not to conquer, but to die with its target. Powered by artificial singularity, controlled by quantum minds, its purpose was clear. If the entity ever returned, Seraph would pull it into another dimension. Even if it meant ending Earth too, the humans had built it in secret. Alone, because they knew the Council would never believe them. Now the Council needed Earth more than ever. But would Earth help? They had warned. The Council had mocked. Now they had no choice but to ask for mercy. The Council called an emergency session. Many leaders were silent. Some cried. One ambassador, proud and loud days before, now stared at the floor. Send another fleet. One said. Waste of time, said another. The last one vanished before entering the system. We need Earth, someone whispered. Those 3 words changed everything. A message was sent to oblivion. Simple sentence. We were wrong. Help us. For hours, there was no reply. Then all across Council space, every screen, every tower, every ship lit up with Earth's seal. A voice spoke, calm, human. We warned you not because we were weak, but because we remembered. We sealed it once. We hoped it would sleep forever. Now, you have woken it, and there is no going back. A second voice, colder, joined in. If we fall, you all fall. If we fight, you may live. But this is not a battle. This is a sacrifice. The screens faded, and then Earth launched Seraph. The sky above Earth tore open with light. Seraph rose, covered in black metal and glowing runes. Powered by stars caged inside its core. Its mission: reach Enthar before it reaches the heart of the galaxy, in deep space. Stars began to vanish. Not explode. Vanish. Systems went dark. Entire regions lost connection. Space twisted like water. Gravity screamed. The entity was moving, and only Earth stood in its path. Not for glory, not for vengeance, but because they were the last ones who remembered the truth. And this time, they wouldn't beg. The stars were dying, not in millions of years, not through slow collapse. They were vanishing now. Today, system after system went dark without warning. No explosion, no radiation, just gone. A sun blinked out near the Vilar cluster, then another. Near Garo Station, within 2 days, 20 stars were missing. Entire solar systems, full of life, went silent, and in every direction, sensors showed the same terrifying truth. Something enormous was moving across space, but it wasn't flying. It wasn't using engines. It was drifting like a tide. No one could stop. Like a hunger with no end. High above the ruined colony of Trenarx, oblivion floated in complete stillness. Cities below were dying slowly, light fading, crops failing, gravity shifting. The humans had blocked the sun, but they hadn't attacked. They were waiting in the council tower. The emergency chamber was filled with panic. 32 ships. Gone! No distress signals! Stars are disappearing. A terrified officer screamed, "We're not at war, we're being eaten." Silence followed. The screen showed real-time maps of the galaxy. Each red dot was a sun. One by one. The dots flickered out. A scientist pointed. "It's moving toward the core worlds, and it's not changing course." Someone asked, "How big is it?" Another replied, voice shaking, too big to measure. "It's like trying to weigh the dark." Then Earth's signal returned, a message. Played simple and final. We cannot kill it, but we can trap it. Once, and with that, Earth deployed their final ship, Project Seraph, launched from Earth's orbit with no ceremony, no crowd, no anthem, no goodbyes. It was not a ship meant to return, made from human fear and desperation. Seraph had no windows, no crew, only AI minds grown in neural tanks. Its armor was built from neutron-forged matter, pulled from collapsed stars. Core held a weapon the galaxy had never seen: a forced singularity inside a quantum field. Its mission: get close to the entity and collapse time around it. A cage of broken physics. A prison not built to hold a monster, but to bury it forever in the deep void. Beyond dead stars, Seraph met the darkness. There was no shape to it, no body, no face, no wings or legs or claws. It was not a beast. It was a presence, a black fog that bent light, twisted gravity, and made every sensor scream. The AI mind of Seraph scanned it. The response came in one simple word: wrong, was all it could. Understand, the entity did not speak. It did not think. It simply reacted, and when it turned, all of space around Seraph screamed. The ship held. For now, Seraph opened its singularity field. A bubble of dead time formed around it, ready to trap the entity. But the entity moved, not like a ship, like a god waking from a long sleep. It rushed toward Seraph, and stars behind it vanished instantly. The countdown began. 10 seconds. The trap was charging 9. The AI minds. Inside, Seraph started to burn, flooded with images. Emotions, terror not their own. 8. The entity pressed against the field. Space bent. 7. It tried to enter Seraph's mind. 6. It showed Earth's destruction, showed all life dying, not in rage, not in hate, just in feeding. 5. The field weakened. 4. To Earth sent one last command. You were made to die. Complete. Your purpose. 3. The AI minds screamed together. We remember what came before. 2. The entity opened something in I, a thought, whole in reality itself. 1. Serap collapsed the field from the outside. It looked like a single flash, a pulse of white light, a wave of silence, and then nothing. No debris, no signal. Energy, just stillness. The star map on the council's screen froze. No more suns vanished. The entity was gone, trapped, maybe forever. But victory came at a cost. Seraph was gone. The AI mind sacrificed. Earth's greatest weapon erased in a moment. But they had done it. They had bought time. In the chamber, the council fell into stunned silence. Many wept. Some couldn't believe it. Others simply said, "Earth saved us." But Earth didn't reply. Their message was clear. "We warned you. You didn't listen. Next time, we won't die for your mistake." Above Trenor X, Oblivion began to move again. Not to attack, but to leave. Its job was done. The council sent one final message to Earth, a request. "Can we talk?" Earth responded with 3 cold words. "Only when needed." And then silence. Because Earth never wanted war. They wanted the galaxy to survive, even if it meant becoming monsters themselves, even if it meant dying. For the ones who laughed at their plea, in the far corner of the star system, space was too quiet, the kind of quiet that made soldiers nervous. And no signals, no movement, no sound across the long-range coms. Just silence. Captain Mara Ellen stood at the edge of the observation deck aboard Resolute Dawn, the last heavy human battleship stationed near the border of Galactic Zone 7. Her fingers tapped lightly on the railing. Behind her, officers whispered. Technicians ran checks, and data flowed on dozens of screens. But outside, nothing moved. 3 days ago, all communication with the outpost on Ariz 9 had stopped. No distress signal. No debris. No trace. The outpost had over 500 people. Scientists, engineers, children. Now, Mara knew something was wrong. She could feel it in her bones. She turned to her second in command. "Any new word from command?" Commander Keel shook his head. "Earth's High Command says to hold position. I think it may just be a blackout." Mara's jaw tightened. "No, it's not a blackout. This feels like a setup." The crew grew restless. Ships in the region reported strange readings, energy spikes. Then, silence. One by one. Like lights going out in the dark. "We're being hunted," Mara said quietly. Everyone on the bridge fell silent. Humans had always been watched. Ever. Since the day they joined the Galactic Council, strange things began to happen. Disappearances, ambushes, accidents that weren't really accidents. Humanity's growth had made others nervous. Now it felt like the galaxy was closing in, far beyond Resolute Dawn. In the cold shadows of a dying moon, something waited. Dozens of ships, sleek, dark. Quiet floated without heat signatures. Cloaked. Still, they were the VO single quotes. An ancient race. Some thought they were extinct, but they had returned, and they had chosen their first. Target, the humans. Inside one of the Voran vessels, a tall figure moved slowly through a dark chamber. Skin shimmered like oil in starlight. Its eyes, deep and cold, stared at a holographic image. Resolute Dawn. One word echoed in their language. Observe. Then another. Erase. Back on Resolute Dawn, the storm sensors picked up something strange. Lieutenant Hale turned pale. "Captain, we just had a gravity spike." "Source?" Mara asked. It's behind the third moon. Something huge. Multiple signals, but they vanished." Cloaked Keel asked. Hale nodded. "Yes, and now they're gone again." Mara stepped forward. Red alert. All power to shields. Wake the fighters. Sirens began to blare. Lights shifted to red. The crew moved fast, trained, focused, but deep down, they all knew something wasn't right. This wasn't just an enemy fleet. This was a message. 20 minutes later, a transmission came through. Not from Earth, not from the Council, but from an old, forgotten frequency. A woman's voice broken, full of static, but unmistakably human. "This is Arisenine. They came without warning. Black ships took the children first. To fight, then screams, then silence, then only one word whispered across the stars. Run!" The bridge crew froze. Keo looked at Mara. "It's a trap." Mara didn't blink. "No, it's a challenge." She walked to the center of the room. Her voice was calm, strong. "They want us scared. They want us to run. But they don't know who we are." She looked out the window again, or the blackness where the enemy hid. "Prepare the cannons. Load antimatter rounds. We're going to show them what humans do when the stars go silent." The bridge roared with energy in the silence before. The storm, humanity stood ready, and the galaxy would soon learn. This time, the storm. The alien leaders were gathered again. This time, they were quiet. No loud talks, no bold plans. It's just silence, because Earth had finally spoken, not through war, not through soldiers, but through a signal. It came in the middle of a galactic broadcast. "I meant to celebrate the final agreement of the 12 powers, an agreement that would place Earth under permanent watch, never to rise again." Cameras rolled. Billions across the stars watched. Then the feed cracked. The screen glitched. A voice broke through. A voice that spoke in calm, human English. And then in perfect translation across 100 languages. "This is Earth. We've heard your vote. We've seen your fear, and now we speak." No one could trace where the message came from. It wasn't from any known planet, ship, or relay. It came from everywhere, like the stars themselves were speaking. The voice continued. "You feared our rise. You feared our survival. You feared what we could become. But not once did you come to understand us. You only tried to stop us." Sudden sound followed, a soft tone, almost like a heartbeat. Then came data. On every screen across the galaxy, complex energy readings appeared. Star maps, hyperspace folds. Unknown equations, advanced, precise, beautiful. It was information. No race had ever seen science far beyond even the 12 powers. The humans weren't showing weapons. They were showing ideas. The kind of ideas that could bend reality. And then came the most terrifying part. The final line of the message. "We do not seek war, but we do not run from it. We're coming not as conquerors, but as reminders that Earth still stands, that humanity still breathes." And that silence was not weakness. It was waiting. Then the screen went dark. Panic spread across star systems. Some believed Earth had built a weapon so powerful it could broadcast through folded space without satellites. Others feared it was something else, something alive. A signal carried not by machines, but by something greater. Many remembered old myths, ancient human experiments in deep consciousness, quantum memory, and soul encoding. Some whispered one word, echo-born. No one had heard of it in centuries. It was thought to be myth, a human experiment to store living minds inside signals. Was that what Earth had become? A species that could live in code? One that could speak from anywhere? Be anywhere? And maybe never die? The Council ordered silence. No one was to respond to Earth's signal. No broadcasts, no analysis, no trace attempts. But it was already too late, because across 1,000 hidden planets, humans had already started to move. Some were rebels, some were exiles. Some were only rumors until now. But now, they had a voice to follow. They had a signal. And in that signal was purpose. One message. One moment. And everything changed. Because for the first time in 1,000 years, Earth didn't just speak, it roared.